Hello guys, welcome to this way too long video on how to gather Rawhide. Now you might be asking yourself, why is this video so long? And
The billionaire Warren Buffett says, the more you knowledge, the more you Lamborghini.
I'm just going to get into this video. I don't want this intro to be too long, but we're going to be going over efficient ways to increase your yield. We're going to be going over the craft mods that you can get from the mobs here, and also some extra bonuses that are at this zone. So without further ado, let's just get into the video. Alright, so here we are laying prone in the bushes so no one can see me. But if we open up the map, it's right here at Balmy Veld. Now this is in Cutlass Keys, and the best way of getting here, in my opinion, is just taking this way shrine and then just running straight south. And you basically come here, and it's pretty important that you stand pretty much right in this spot. So you have a camp here to the northeast, and you have a camp here to the southwest, and this camp here to the northwest as well. But if you stand here in the middle of these camps, you'll see that you have good access to a lot of these lush hunt pointers, and you're going to be able to just round them up, get a huge stack of mobs pretty much right at your feet because they're going to run to you. And you also actually have quite a few leopards and these boars as well that you can take down. Let's go ahead and show you guys what you're going to need for this. So I am running full skinner set. So this gives you skinning luck. Now this doesn't really affect these mobs that much because the tier 2 skinning resource is like bugged. Like when you're woodcutting, for example, you never really get the rare resource there. As with like Fey Iron, you'll actually be able to get quite a bit of that, but it's not really the case with skinning right now. It's incredibly difficult to get that resource. So the luck doesn't really matter, but it can improve the amount of craft mods that you get. And there are actually some pretty good craft mods. I actually have just one of each in my inventory right now that you want to be looking out for. And it's especially from the lush hunt pointers, the corrupted dogs. You can get keen awareness. Now this goes on, I believe it's a ring. If I'm not mistaken, it's at least a piece of jewelry. And it is higher than 3% critical chance. I think it goes up to 9.5% increased critical. So that's a really good craft mod to get. You also have strike damage, obviously very good craft mod. That also goes on a piece of jewelry. You have the jagged animal fang. That's from pretty much any skinnable creature. It's just reinforced skinning luck. That's what goes on your armor. So that is like this perk here. Obviously it's going to be higher than 2% as well. That's kind of, it just shows you the lowest amount when you're actually looking at these craft mods. Then you have the pristine animal claws. Now you can only get these from, I believe, the leopards that are around, the like big cats. But this is a really, really good craft mod to have, and I'm planning on using these on my, max level crafts once I get there. You also have these different mangy hides. Now I'm not very interested in these, but I'm just showing you what you can get. So you can look out for those, I suppose. You also have bloodletting. Again, it could be interesting if you're going for like a heavy bleed build, but in the end, I think this one only goes up to like 6.6% longer bleed duration, so it's really not that much. You're probably better off with the other craft mods, but still it could be interesting, if you actually manage to get enough bleeds to make it work. Then you have jagged animal claw. That just gives you keen on your weapon, and that is a top tier mod. And you also have adored skinning luck. Now that goes on an amulet, as you can see. It's actually this one. So I can plop that on, and you get 7.2. It's a higher percent skinning luck than you do get on your skinning gear, like your armor. And then you can also run with the carrots. But for this, I don't think it's really worth it, just because you are just looking for those craft mods, right? So not super important in my opinion. And then it's really important to have a weak proficiency booster, or really as high tier of a proficiency booster as you can use. Now, I don't really have any proficiency booster crafters in my server, so probably a niche that I'm going to want to work on myself. But for right now, you know, this is all we got. So I'm just using these for the time being at least. And then you're going to want skinning yield on your skinning knife. That is super important, probably the most important thing here. Yeah, obviously 16% more resources. If we're talking about making 10,000 rawhide in an hour, that's going to be, what, 1,600 rawhide extra. So that is obviously a lot. And you'll notice it right away. So a very good good thing to have, not like luck where, you know, it might come into play, maybe, you know. And then I'm using the musket. Now, as you can see, this musket isn't very good. I would actually recommend you not use an insanely good musket, just because you don't want to be one-shotting the mobs. They are level 33, I believe. Yeah, you know, if you are in the really high levels like 60 or like 55 to 60, you might be one-shotting these mobs. I've seen some videos where people have used the flame staff, and that's also possible, but what I'm going to show you in the actual rotation here is that the musket is, I think, better just because it has longer range. And you're also not going to want to take any of the perks that give it increased headshot damage. Just ignore that. I honestly really just want tactical reload. That'll give you a faster reload. Just good for this, you just want to be shooting as much as possible, and also critical reload. Those two perks will increase your speed and efficiency here very considerably, honestly. You do also have powder burn. That's going to be very important. I'll show you that. And also shooter stance is a great ability to have as well. Looking at attributes, I would recommend, you know, get as much dexterity as possible, obviously, since we're skinning. If you can break that 250 dexterity, it is worth taking out Constitution if you're going to farm this enough, because you get 10% yield. And again, if you think about 10,000 rawhide, which is definitely doable in an hour here, you're going to get 1,000 extra, right? You know, that is a very great perk to get if you get to 250 dexterity. I will go ahead and round up these mobs. I'll start a timer, and I'll show you guys basically how fast it takes to fill up my inventory. As you can see, I can hold 881 weight. I have 12.9 right now. And yeah, I'll start a timer so you guys can see just how fast it is. Now, I usually grab the leopards and boars, which are the mobs that respawn the slowest. Always grab them first, just so they can get that respawn time rolling. And you can kind of already see why the musket is better than, let's say, a fire staff. Even though you are using ammo, it does have that infinite range. And you do also have pinpoint accuracy as well, so it's really easy to hit them. And it doesn't do as much damage as the bow, where it's going to just immediately kill anything that it touches. I don't really know why this thing aggroed me, but that's fine. So that's almost all the cougars. There is another boar that spawns right here. So there's a cougar and a boar that spawns right here. A cougar that spawns there, a cougar that spawns up here, and when I say cougar, I actually mean leopard, but I guess they look like cougars, I don't know, whatever. And then there's another leopard that spawns down here. He just only sometimes kind of comes up. You see someone actually killed him, but yeah, he's right down here, and you can only shoot him sometimes, so I don't usually really look out for that one, because the main bread and butter here is going to be the Lush Hunt pointers. So if I just tag one there, and he's going to run all the way to me, kill him like that. And obviously the reason why you want to stand right here is because it is a good distance for all of the mobs that you will be hitting. So I mean, you'll pick this up real fast if you come to the spot, you know, where all of them are. There are like some hidden ones. I guess I can show you those. But you do have the pointer that spawns right here. You have a pointer that spawns right here. You have a pointer that spawns up there. You have a pointer that spawns right there. about. And you have another pointer that's kind of in these bushes right there. And then you also have this one, which is a little bit difficult to see. There we go. And there's also one that is like in between the tents right there. So that's another one to grab for sure. And as you can see, that was the end of his aggro distance. So you want to just be careful with that when you are grabbing. There's that one. And this is the reason why it's not great to have other people here. Oh, actually, it didn't go on. Yeah, normally if you get the ones that are very far away, they will actually aggro onto a player that is closest to them. So that isn't always great. But as you can see, I can shoot this boar and it'll actually run all the way to me. Seems to be something with the actual skinning mobs, is that they will run all the way to where they first got shot from. And if that is like too far, then they will reset. But with the pointers, they will actually just reset after they reach a certain distance. So that's a great way of grabbing the mobs that are really far away. I haven't actually unlocked the sniper that gives a 3x zoom. That ability for the musket might actually let you see things that are further away. I know that this leopard here sometimes doesn't like show because it's too far away. But as you can see, I do have a good size pile here that I can start skinning. And I just grab his friend, of course, because I'm not that good of a shot. But yeah, you can just keep on shooting these guys. You just have to remember to actually, you know, skin them, or else their bodies are just going to despawn. So we'll go ahead and start that now. It's already been 4 minutes. And remember, I haven't been too efficient on this farm during these 4 minutes just because of, you know, explaining the route. But that is generally all the things you're going to be looking out for. Different leopard spawns. You want to shoot the boars as well. And then while those are down, I think they have like a 5-minute respawn time, maybe 6-7 minutes. But while those are down, you're just going to be focusing on the lush hunt pointers. And I'll go ahead and show you this as well. If I shoot this one, that is way back there. Obviously, that's going to be too long of an aggro distance. So he's going to run right there. That's his animation. So if they stop like that, start shaking their head, that means that they've reached the end of their aggro range and they're going to essentially start retreating, and then they are invincible while they are retreating. So you want to definitely make sure you're watching out for that and shoot them before they get that into that range. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and speed this up. And I wasn't fast enough to skin that one, so this is bad efficiency. But I'll show you anyway how fast we can actually get a full inventory of hides. It goes really fast in this location, so I will see you at the end when I will go back. Time on my stopwatch says 23:35, and that is for 5,272 hides, so just right under 5,300. I did get some fur as well. That is something that you can use the luck on to get more fur, so something to think about. And I did forget about these shard of corrupted matter as well. If those are interesting to you, they give bite resistance and I think, yeah, increased damage to angry earth. if that's interesting to you, but I think these that I showed you are much more viable. Anyway, that took 23:35. Now I was a little bit inefficient. I have gotten as low as 20 minutes for about a stack of 5,000. So looking at what you can do once you've got a stack like this, obviously you can travel up to Cutlass Keys, or you can go to Windsward and just sell it. I do recommend selling it in Windsward just because that is where people generally do the most crafting, and that's how you're going to be able to sell it fastest. And that's really what you want, is just to be able to sell them really fast. I'm actually going to go to Cutlass Keys Hamlet or town or village and show you one more thing that you can do to make this even more efficient, especially if you're running low on Azoth, or if you have just a need for tokens. Alright, so coming to my faction representative here in Cutlass Keys, it's going to be for Marauders. Now you can grab these PvP missions here. Now you are going to have to be PvP flagged, but I think that really just makes it more fun to kind of break up the monotonous grind fest that is just getting tier 1 resources, but to each their own. So if you do grab those quests, as you can see, here is the farming zone right there, and here are the PvP missions. So obviously that's really close, but it is a really far run to do. So you're just going to take this road down, and you're going to cross this bridge, or you can take this road. I would recommend this if you are going to do the PvP missions. This is a really good way of actually kind of making it worth it, just because it is such a far run that it generally, isn't really worth the distance that you're going to be spending. It takes like 5 minutes to run down there. But if you do fill up an inventory full of Rawhide, that's 1,700 gold, 2,000 gold maybe. Now alternatively, after you get a full inventory of Rawhide, you're going to want to just come to Windsward. So I'll go ahead and recall to the inn. Okay, had that timer up way too long. But now we are in Windsward. You're going to come straight to the marketplace here. Go on to sell. And if you just click this owned button, that will let you easily find the Rawhide that you have. And you can see the buy orders here. Generally, 0.16 is honestly kind of a fair price, but okay, someone is undercutting by an almost ridiculous amount. Actually, 2 people are. So these are generally going for 0.25 on my server. But as you can see, these 2 guys are, I don't even know what this guy's doing with 0.02, making only 10%. I don't know what he's thinking. Anyway, go ahead and put in a sell order for 0. Honestly, I'm going to put it in for 2.3, just to undercut by 1 cent. Honestly, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to put it in for 2.4, just because I think that's going to be just fine. It is usually around 0.25, so you don't want to undercut when it's not necessary. These things do sell like hotcakes, so generally they'll sell out between like 2 to 3 hours, as long as you are keeping a good price margin. And you're gonna also choose 1 day for this for the order, just because you're gonna pay more in listing fees if you go higher up. So 7 days, it's already almost double the price. So put it on 1 day. They will generally sell in 1 day, so you don't have to deal with. Don't put them in for 14 days. You're literally going to be paying double. You want to keep those taxes as low as possible. So go ahead and place that order. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoy this video, and have a great day.